Hey guys, it's Emma Vigling with TYT Politics once again, here from my mom's kitchen. It is essentially like John King's 20 different plasma TVs on CNN. That's how high quality this production is. Don't you feel good about watching this now that we have so much high quality tech? Whatever. I'm here filling in for Jordan on the Podesta emails continuing to roll in because he is on a plane right now. I think he's still on the plane. He's going down to meet Eric in North Carolina where they're going to be covering Trump and they're going to be covering Hillary Clinton the next day. Two different kinds of rallies, two very different feels. So make sure to look out for those videos. Also, we have some Standing Rock videos. There's a new Standing Rock video that's up again. So definitely go check that out. We, again, are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the election. Just spread the word. We really want to make this goal happen. Right now, we're in the middle. We're around 97.5K. Yeah, we're definitely monitoring it to see how exact we have the numbers down. So tell everybody, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Randy Gonzalez. I can't help but say Jenks' tagline there, and I know that's originated from the legendary Phil Davidson. So definitely tell everyone to check that out. Tell everyone to subscribe because we are pretty much one of the only outlets that are talking about the WikiLeaks. So I want to go through what both Jordan and I have found today in the latest dump. I hate that word, but of Podesta emails part 19. The saga continues. It is as epic as Lord of the Rings. Not quite, but a little bit more depressing. Maybe towards the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones kind of vibe for how depressing these leaks are. So my favorite, I'm going to start off right off the bat. Exposed. These journalists who we think and suspected were in the pocket of the Hillary Clinton campaign. Not in the pocket necessarily, but they have the ear of the Hillary Clinton campaign. They get fed information by the Hillary Clinton campaign and still call themselves columnists or journalists. Oh, how esteemed you are when you are basically on the payroll and you are being fed propaganda from the Hillary Clinton campaign. So I tweeted this. I thought it was pretty good. #journalism, I said. So Neera Tanden, who is a well-known Hillary Clinton fangirl, she is the chief operating officer for Center for American Progress, which is essentially a Hillary Clinton buddy-buddy situation. So John Podesta founded it, and she is the chief operating officer. So she basically wrote an email to John Podesta, and she said, Howard's advice was the subject. When Bloomberg was having problems with the Times, he called Arthur Schlossberger and asked him for coffee. Arthur Schlossberger is of the New York Times. So basically saying that when Michael Bloomberg was having problems with I'm assuming the New York Times' coverage of him, he just took him out to coffee and showed him a nice time. And then the coverage started getting a little bit nicer. So that's how you really do those things. That's the great advice that Howard sent to Neera Tanden, and she was passing along to John Podesta. He made the case that they were treating him like a billionaire dilettante instead of a third-term mayor. Oh, the shame! It changed the coverage moderately, but it also aired the issue in the newsroom, so people were more conscious of it. So basically, you got your talking point out to the New York Times and then changed the narrative in a way that was more favorable to you. But Arthur is a pretty big wuss, so he's not going to do a lot more than that. So what you define as wuss, Neera Tanden, is someone who doesn't completely take what you want to be said and put it into their news outlet. That's how you define wuss. The rest of us define that as not having completely sold out. The email continues. Hillary would like to be the one on the call. He also thinks that brown and women pundits can shame the Times and others on social media. Remind us of who had the issue with brown voters, Neera Tanden. Also, aren't you technically a brown woman yourself? Why would you single these people out like that and marginalize them in such a way? Ugh, it's gross. So cultivating Joan Walsh, Iglesias, I can't pronounce it, Alan Perry Bacon, and Greg Sargent to defend her is helpful. They can be emboldened. These are journalists. Perry Bacon is of NBC News. Matt Iglesias is of Fox. I've only seen his name in print. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. Greg Sargent is of the Washington Post. And of course, Joan Walsh of The Nation. So the infamous Joan Walsh, who has blocked Jordan on Twitter, doesn't Jordan feel a little bit good about that now? Joan Walsh is a notorious Hillary Clinton hack, and now there is direct evidence that she was essentially just shilling for the Hillary Clinton campaign and was on their short list of people who were going to regurgitate the talking points that they wanted. So that we already kind of knew that, but the cavalier way in which Neera Tanden refers to Joan Walsh and those other journalists that she lists as people that can be easily manipulated shows how often this kind of thing happens. Yes, Aaron, Russia. I forgot to mention Russia. I can't go through this news broadcast without mentioning Russia because, as you know, Russia, and then also Russia. Right. Robbie Mook, the campaign spokesperson, he said in March 2015, the subject of this email is HRC and trade. I can't recall where we landed exactly on trade. Is she going to say that she supports it? Regardless of her position. That should be instead of I'm with her, the tagline for the Hillary Clinton campaign should be, regardless of her position, put her in office. Here we go. Signing a letter feels like poking the bear with labor to me. They were essentially talking about signing a letter back then that was supportive of the TPA, and they didn't know what her position was, so they were kind of just saying, Robbie Mook, who's one of the highest people up in her campaign, has no idea what her position is on trade. So that just goes to show how she has no principles. That's for better, for worse, and it's mostly for worse. She does what the polls say. That's why she was so late to come out on gay marriage. That's why, I don't know why she champions herself as someone who has always advocated for gay rights. Yes, at the time, I guess, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was kind of revolutionary. We can look at it in hindsight and say, yeah, that was an insane policy. So maybe that's what she's trying to hang her hat on, but Hillary Clinton is always behind the curve. She was behind the curve with Iraq. She was behind the curve with gay issues. She's always behind the curve, and because she waits for the focus groups to tell her how an issue is going to appear to voters. Here was another one that I found interesting. John Podesta seeks money from Michael Sachs, who is a money CEO. I think it's a hedge fund, and a Rahm Emanuel advisor. What struck me as interesting about this is that he was CC'd on Chicago PD emails about spying on Black Lives Matter activists. So here's an email from an undisclosed person sent to John Podesta. John, it would be really great if you could I think they meant to say, if you could call Michael in the next day or so. He would be he was the top raiser for Rahm, very close to Obama, big donor in Chicago. He's a bit tired from Rahm's campaign, but in for HRC. So, these are not such strange bedfellows, Hillary Clinton and Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel is, in my opinion, maybe the worst Democratic politician in the country. Hillary Clinton's pretty up there, too. I don't really see how he even considers himself a Democrat with the way he has gentrified Chicago, the way he has completely disregarded the black population there. He's done nothing to help violence in the city. He's been a disaster. And Hillary Clinton is seeking money from someone who is very close to him, who, in the wake of all the heat Emanuel took over his seemingly self-serving delayed response of the Laquan McDonald video, the mayor's dependence on Sachs has become more pronounced. But with that, Sachs' reputation seems to singe at the edges as news surfaces that he was CC'd in emails from the mayor's office about the Chicago Police Department's plans to spy on Black Lives Matter activists. The Chicago Tribune has filed numerous FOIA requests, meaning trying to access that information, freedom of information, to access emails between the two men. I don't think anyone would say that someone who was CC'd on emails about Chicago Police Department emails about spying on Black Lives Matter activists has the black population's best interest at heart. So these are the bedfellows that Hillary Clinton has with her in her campaign. Moving on. Jordan tweeted this out. Hillary Clinton approved joint campaign DNC victory fund, which Ken Vogel, who is a great journalist from Politico, who's also been doing a lot of good coverage on this, brilliantly exposed as a money funneling scheme. If you recall, I will read this to you from Ken Vogel's article back in the summer, this particular fund was exposed as doing not what it was initially chartered to do. State parties kept less than 0.5% of the 82 million raised through the arrangement, which is the fund that Hillary Clinton approved, which was just exposed in the emails. Validating concerns raised by campaign finance watchdog, state party allies, and Bernie Sanders supporters. The arrangement, called the Hillary Victory Fund, allowed the Clinton campaign to seek contributions of hundreds of thousands of dollars to attend extravagant fundraisers, including a dinner at George Clooney's house and the concert at Radio City Music Hall featuring Katy Perry and Elton John. That's resulted in criticism for Clinton, who has made opposition to big money in politics a key plank in her campaign platform. So the money was actually supposed to be going to state parties and state candidates, but was actually being funneled into Hillary Clinton's campaign. So the email itself says it is in an email from, again, her campaign spokesman, Robbie Mook, to Hillary Clinton and CCing John Podesta and Huma Abedin, her top aide, on it. It says, Madam Secretary, thank you for the call. Hopefully we didn't bore you to tears with the slides. Very sweet. Robbie Mook seems like a nice guy, actually. The latter part of this email says, I wanted to get your blessing to move forward with the DNC joint account. We didn't get a chance to cover that on our call. I'm obviously happy to have a conversation about it if you want or move forward. I'm happy with the arrangement and believe it's important to money and operational strategies. And then she responds saying, I'm fine with the TV, which is another part of the email, and go ahead with DNC. So she had the okay on this particular fund, which was exposed by Ken Vogel and Politico, which was a great piece back in the summer. So she knew about this. Whether she knew about the extent of how little money was actually going to the state parties and most of it was being funneled to her campaign, we'll never know. But actually maybe we will in upcoming emails. But what we do know is that she did know about this particular operation and she gave it the go-ahead personally. So right now, as of now, we haven't seen her fingerprints on a lot of emails, naturally, because Hillary Clinton and emails right now are emails are her kryptonite, let's just say that. So we don't know the extent to which she may have approved this operation and this victory fund, but we do know that she gave it the go-ahead. So that was something that I found pretty interesting. This one's a little gossipy. I feel conflicted about reporting on the gossip sometimes because I think it's not as newsworthy, but I would never report on like John Podesta's emails to his wife or really things that I don't think are newsworthy. But this one shows a hypocrisy that bothers me, so I thought this was important. Back in 2008, Hillary Clinton campaign chair John Podesta, or I believe, yes, it was John Podesta, called her psychotic for not conceding in 2008. So Neera Tanden, huge Hillary Clinton fangirl, on June 3rd, 2008, after she had definitively lost to President Obama, the delegates and the superdelegates, the regular delegates, which were at first on her side. Don't you know that they switch? I forgot. The mainstream media was counting them before anyone had even voted, and were counting them for Hillary Clinton. Let's not dredge up old wounds. She says in June, okay, will do, in reference to something else. I am really profoundly sad today. I thought I was over it, but here I am sad. She's not conceding tonight, and not anytime soon either. Podesta responds, former smart, or latter psychotic, referring to her not conceding. I mention this because Bernie Sanders was called pie in the sky, psychotic, insane, because he didn't concede when the delegate map, the regular delegate map, didn't even add up to a victory for her. She had the super delegates plus the delegates, and then as soon as she had a significant lead with the super delegates added, they were like, drop out, drop out, drop out, drop out, drop out, drop out. You're hurting Hillary. You want Trump to win. This is for the good of the party. Shut up, go away, Bernie Sanders. Stop bringing up her corruption. And now, when you look back in 2008, when she had no case to be made, she had the delegates and the super delegates after they had switched from her to President Obama, which was the ideal situation that would have happened for Bernie Sanders if he had won. She was not conceding, and Podesta calls it psychotic. There was one where President Obama's chief of staff was emailing with Hillary Clinton's campaign back in March 2015. So, obviously, it's no secret that President Obama was way more favorable, with a little bit of a wink and a nod, to Hillary Clinton than to Bernie Sanders. As much as Obama is perceived and is definitely more progressive than Hillary Clinton, even though he's not as progressive as a lot of us would like, he still was a part of that establishment machine that wanted Hillary Clinton to win. So President Obama's chief of staff, back in March 2015, was emailing with John Podesta, looking to do an in-person meeting. In person is best, he said, and I will come to you, but phone is not terrible. So, of course, nothing in writing, but this is Dennis McDonough, President Obama's chief of staff, emailing with John Podesta. So, also, this is similar, but back in February, President Obama's team had a conference call with Hillary Clinton during the Democratic primary, which Jordan tweeted out. And Neera Tanden emailed to John Podesta about the call, saying, in March, he said, or the call was during February, we assume. But Neera Tanden said, how about a joint statement from many of the Obama folks that you guys did a call a few weeks ago? So Neera Tanden, once again, diehard Hillary Clinton fan, wanted, before the primary was even over, for the Clinton campaign to do a joint statement that Obama's team and Hillary Clinton's campaign had a conference call. Like, just the brazenness of Neera Tanden, like, you have to at least pretend like this is a neutral process. Why would you ever put out a joint statement like that? It's just basically giving the middle finger to the Bernie Sanders supporters who were saying that this is not a fair process. You are not treating us the same way as you're treating others. She doesn't care. They just wanted to say, sure up that Obama support. I'm with her. So, all right, guys, that is the latest on the WikiLeaks front. I will be keeping you updated as much as possible. I do hope to do some Trump stories, but, you know, the media has that covered. The mainstream media has that covered. And right now, no one else is covering this. So I know that to some of you guys, this may seem like overkill, but all of this is super important information because she is likely to be president, and she may, we're going to have to hold her accountable. You know, we need this kind of information out there in the public to make sure she doesn't screw us over. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful day. I'm going to try and edit some videos from Detroit, from our Disappearing Middle Class tour, Standing Rock. We have so much stuff to do, and I wear many hats here. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to tell your friends, and tell your dog, tell your pet lizard, pet rock to subscribe to TYT Politics. That's where I'm going to end.